think anyone in the country thought we were going to win, but we did. And so our expectation was to win, and so obviously as competitors we're disappointed. With that said, Minnesota's a fantastic team, and I thought they beat us. You know, I thought we did a lot of great things. I thought we followed game plan very well. For our matchup, I thought Whitman probably won the match for them because we really needed to contain Dixon and Harms, and I thought we did that for the most part. I mean, they still got a lot of kills, but we needed to make sure they didn't go off, and I thought we did that, but I thought Whitman was probably the X factor. We knew that was a possibility. We hoped she wouldn't have such a stellar night tonight. But with that said, you know, this has been a special year for Creighton. This group is just an amazing group of young women. From where we were a year ago, both on and off the court, to be where we are now, and the selflessness of this group has really been special.
Questions for coach and players?
Kirsten, going back to game one, what sets you guys apart is your block, and you got it working early, and we're doing some nice things with that. And just kind of talk about the mentality on the bench after the first game.
You know, again, I think I actually was pleased that we didn't. I thought they took it like any other game, that they won a game. They came back in a business-like fashion, ready to go into game two. Like I said, these guys came in expecting to win, you know, and I think that's a great statement to this team. They figure out ways to win, and obviously we were close. Wasn't anything special. I mean, our plan was to try to contain Dixon and Harms, and then we wanted long points. We think Minnesota is great at the first ball kill. We needed to make sure they didn't do that at will, so siding out at will. And then we were concerned about their serving, so we needed to make sure we protected the ball. And I thought we did a very good job of that tonight. Minnesota's an outstanding serving team.
For any of the players, even with your expectation to win, was game one a nice confidence boost to come into their place and to get rolling?
I think it gave us confidence to start the match, but we were confident before the match, and we knew we had to be the aggressor and put pressure on them, and that's what we did in the first set. So that was kind of our game plan from the start.
And conversely, you go to game three where you have 16-8 at one point, it gets away from you. Just talk about where some things broke down in that game.
Yeah, that's probably the part that hurts the most, that they made that run. I think it was a mix of different things. I think it was a mix of some hitting errors, some passing errors, and I think it was a mix of Minnesota really did a lot of good things. They served well in that run, and then, you know, every time if we didn't put an aggressive ball down, they really converted offensively. And that, you know, I would say, you know, Whitman in particular, and Harms, I would say, on Dixon, I mean, they just hit at a higher velocity than we typically see. I mean, they really have whips for arms, and I thought, you know, we dug some balls, but, you know, we knew that going in, that they would get some great kills just because of the power and the athleticism that they have.
Melanie, game three, from a player's standpoint, where are you mentally after the loss and a loss in that fashion?
Well, after game three, I know we came out in game four with calm confidence, knowing that if we just did what we know we're good at and just work hard, that we had a very good chance of getting a fourth game out and to keep going and take it to 5 innings.
Coach, if you could talk a little bit about Leah's season, because for those who haven't seen her play, talk about that, and then Leah, you can talk a little bit about it. You know, it's not easy to talk after a loss, but you can talk a little bit about her season this year.
Well, Leah's carried a lot of offensive load for us, and she is Air McNary back in Omaha for obvious reasons, and I think Megan really trusts her to put the ball down. I think she thrives in that situation. You know, she just, I think she's a very different attacker than a lot of people see. You know, people look at her and say she's small, but she touches 10-3 and has one of the highest block touches on the team. I mean, she just jumps out of the gym, and she's had a great season.
I think we had a special team this year, and that it was definitely a fun journey to go on, and tonight's loss was tough, but sorry.
This game?
Well, if Megan was player of the year in our conference, and the thing that makes her so difficult is she obviously is a great setter, but she's so offensive. So I think offensively, Megan had probably one of her worst matches of the year last night. She was good in a lot of other aspects, and we thought that maybe was a good thing coming in, that maybe, you know, at least from a live scout perspective, that Minnesota wouldn't be on that. You know, Megan knows in the scouting report pretty much every time we say Megan, be active early and often, and that's kind of standard. So it wasn't anything specific to Minnesota. We did feel like last night Liberty had a real active setter, and they struggled some with her. So, I mean, we discussed that a little bit, but that's a typical night for Megan, that she's going to be pretty active.
Hugh was just in here, and he said what he reminded his team was, our good is good enough. And was that sort of the burden in a nutshell for you coming in, that they have maybe a little more margin for error?
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I think, you know, they have some phenomenal athletes. But with that said, I think, you know, offensively they have more firepower, but I love the defense of my team.